We're going to kick things off by talking about whether or not the Championship gets enough respect. Only 5 points separate the top 3 sides battling for automatic promotion. 7 teams are fighting for a playoff place, and just 6 points separate 12 sides in the relegation scrap.
That's bonkers,
nuts. That is nuts. The Wrexham director, Sean Harvey, joined the Breakfast Show this morning. He said the structure of the Football League leads to more competition in England's second division.
The EFL's recognised that ultimately it's the competition organiser, and ultimately what it needs to do is to give a platform for its clubs to be able to make the best of every opportunity that's presented to them. So the EFL can only make the opportunities, it's for the clubs generally to be able to take them forward, and every club will have a different approach. But it's that different approach that means everybody's got a chance of being successful. And obviously the challenge that everybody recognises is the financial prize, and indeed the status of being in the Premier League is so great that people are prepared to gamble vast amount of money to try and achieve it.
Now, listen, we're going to take calls on all things Championship, right? 03717223344. I've never been a fan of the Championship, right? Whenever I've done the sports bar, it's always been Premier League. And I early on in my time at Drive, I joked about the fact that, the Championship, what's that? But I have to say, not just because of the love here for Ipswich, right? And when I say here, not me, but you two, Wallis, right? It is quite unbelievable. Now, I don't know the reasons behind it. I don't know if one of the reasons is because you don't have VAR. So it's proper old school football.
Check with linesman. He's on the way back to the halfway line. Celebrate.
Done. I don't know if it's because the amount of money in the Championship is so much less than the crazy money you're paid in the Premier League. So you can't just go out and spend ridiculous amounts of money and effectively buy the league. I know there will be some fans going, well, you can because Leicester have got...
Well, Leicester just held on to it.
Yeah.
I know they bought Harry Winks.
But you understand what I'm saying?
Of course.
But there must be a reason why only 5 points separate the top 3. 7 teams are fighting for a playoff place. 6 points separate 12 sides in the relegation scrap. I mean, it's quite unbelievable, isn't it? I'm not going to ask, is it the most exciting football league, right? Because that's nuts. But it really is, right? So last night, I've very rarely done this, but last night, I'm looking at Birmingham's result against Hull.
You put in the group randomly, come on Birmingham, and I think everyone went, what?
I know, because I want obviously Norwich now to get into the playoffs, because that will annoy you two Ipswich. Well, I say you two, it's you and our producer Joe's a big Ipswich fan. And it just makes it, I'm finding it really, really entertaining now, watching the Championship and watching the results come in. And so how highly, you've played it, how highly do you regard not just the Championship, but this season of the Championship?
I mean, I know we probably say it every year about that season's the most exciting, but when you look at what's going on at the top end of the Championship, I'm sure a lot of people would have thought Leicester, Leeds and Southampton, because they're the 3 teams that came down, would almost run away with it. And then you get the likes of Norwich, West Brom, even Sunderland to some extent, maybe Middlesbrough after what they did last season, almost pushing them. But the fact you've got Ipswich, who've just come out of League One last season and just got off to an unbelievable start.
It is unbelievable what Kieran McKenna's doing.
Exactly. Unbelievable start and wedges themselves in there. All of a sudden you're going, well, two of the big hitters are not going to make it. 2 of them are not going to make it. So the fact Leicester got that result last night, but then Ipswich Town's game was fantastic. And first of all, I know we spoke about it, and we hope everyone around St Mary's is safe in that. But the Southampton players just adds a little bit more pressure now, because you plan today, right?
Effectively, they're a game behind now.
A game behind. Now all of a sudden, you're not playing tonight. You plan whenever they rearrange the fixture. You're like, ooh. Before they play that rearranged fixture, they could be 6 points behind, or do you know what I mean? Or it could be. But it's so exciting. But as I said, fair play to Ipswich. But Leeds are fighting, Southampton are fighting, West Brom. I know they're 11 points behind Southampton, but there are some big teams. Take the Leicester, Leeds, Southampton, Ipswich, the top 4 out.
Yeah.
West Brom, Premier League experience. Hull have spent time in the Premier League.
Sunderland,
Norwich there. Coventry lost in the final last season. Do you know what I mean? There are some big teams fighting for that playoff.
Let me ask you one of the questions I want to put out there as well. 03717223344. Sides that are currently in the Premier League that aren't enjoying life in the Premier League. Burnley, your Luton, your Sheffield United. I could throw Nottingham Forest in there. I could throw Brentford in there as well. Do you think supporters of those clubs have more fun in a Championship season with everything we've just spoke about than they're having currently now in the Premier League?
No, I'd say Brentford no, because they've not spent long enough in the Premier League. So they've always wanted to be in the Premier League. They probably didn't even dream of that back in the day. They're there, so they don't want to let that go. I think Nottingham Forest have spent so much time out of the Premier League as well. They don't want to go back to the Championship yet. Burnley, maybe their supporters are thinking, oh, I've had enough of this. We're getting smashed every week. Sheffield United, potentially. I think Luton fans are loving absolutely because they've never been there. Never, ever been there. So I think their supporters are, even if they get beat, they're still loving every single moment of it because it's all new to them. Every ground they go to is a new experience. Every team that comes to their stadium is a new experience.
Yeah.
But the more experienced ones, like Sheffield United fan, if you're right now and you look at last season compared to this season, you're thinking, I always think that the Premier League is where you should be anyway. Regardless if you're getting beat, that's still the best league to be in the world.
Yeah.
But if you're a team like, obviously, a Sheffield United fan, I'm using them as an example, every single week getting slapped 4s and 5s, you must be like, what? And then leaving after 15 minutes, you must be like, what is this?
Yeah, I do think as well, I touched on it at the top of the show, I do think having no VAR is worth its weight in gold.
Yeah, because you know straight away.
Goal,
it's instantaneous,
boom,
yeah. They're not looking for ways to rule out goals. It's just, right, linesman's on his way back, there's no offside, there's no foul, goal.
Yeah. And I know it's the Championship, but we very rarely will have a scream up, or fans will have a scream up about a goal that was given or wasn't given in the Championship. It's almost like a gimme. If it's given, boom. If it's not, it doesn't matter. Exactly. That's just life.
But you get on with it, but people just get on with it.
Yeah.
But with the VAR, it's like they're going back trying to find the smallest detail for it not to count. So I think watching football in the Championship, I'm not saying that the quality is not as good as the Premier League, that's fact. But watching football in the Championship is more exciting because there's that jeopardy that, it's a goal. Not this, let's go back 6 frames and check.
Here's a question for you, right? I don't know if our boys behind the glass in the crash could work this out today, but season by season, do you think you get more goals in the Premier League? I know you got more teams in the Championship, but if you were to, average it out.
What goals in the season for all teams? Yeah. I think you get more in the Champ.
Do you?
Yeah.
By a lot? We can work that out. We'll find out what that answer is.
More in the Champ because some teams, the Championship's barking. Like there's teams at the top of the table, like Leicester could play Rotherham and you'd go, that's a foregone conclusion. They get beat. It's that. Yeah. It happens. Do you know what I mean? So I think the Championship, you get more goals. Okay. Coventry were 4 up last night in about 30 minutes. do you know what I mean?
And also, Ipswich just about won, like very late on, missed a penalty as well. There's a lot of drama in that league.
talkSPORT Drive with Andy Goldstein. Monday to Friday afternoon from 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.